I think so. I mean, to be candid, I caught Governor Lamont in a lie. He claims he didn't put infected patients coming out of nursing home with COVID infected patients out of hospitals into nursing homes. We know that he did. Renee Coleman Mitchell is over there. She confirmed that he did. So I don't know. He must have been under pressure. You would think that a sitting governor wouldn't lie about something as important about that, but we'll find out.
Crime has been a big topic in your campaign, and you talked a lot about police reform and accountability. But we heard a different story from Rob Hoadley just minutes ago, and also on the stage, that don't throw it all out. That there are those moments where this law was intended to.
Yeah, we've been pretty clear on that. The body cams make sense. We absolutely need to hold people accountable in the police force that do something wrong. But I think it's overreaching when you're down hundreds of cops, when cops are now being shot at. I think the use of force standard needs to be revisited. But yeah, there are elements of that good bill that we should keep, but we need to keep people safe, Susan. And people are not safe right now, and we need to address it. For the governor to say he stands by a bill, given the crime rate and what's happened to police officers, I just don't understand it. At a minimum, you would think he'd say we're going to review it again. I'm surprised he's sticking to his position. Well, first of all, we need to bring back qualified immunity for officers. I don't think their personal assets should be at risk. Consent searches, you talk about fentanyl and other drugs, consent searches allowed us to find a lot of those drugs. And the increase in drugs right now may be attributable to that change in consent searches. We should bring that back. And finally, I think the use of force standards. You saw what happened to Officer O'Donnell, and you can't have police being afraid to protect themselves. At the same token, we need to protect people from bad cops. But I would argue it's 1% of the cops that are out there, and for the 99% of cops that are just trying to do their job, I think we should support them.
You said the police accountability law has created an environment of leniency, and you also said corruption.
I shouldn't have said corruption, Mark. It's leniency, additional crime. How did we get to the point in both the nation and the state that it's even in the realm of possibility that we can shoot at cops? We need to change it. We need to bring respect back to police officers. Police officers don't feel it right now. That's why I've been endorsed by Hartford, Stamford, New Haven, Bridgeport, and police officers across the state. We're going to support the heck out of these men and women.
But with that endorsement, police also said that one of their biggest concerns also is the fact that they are outnumbered by guns and assault weapons and ghost guns on the street.
It's definitely,
make it clear what you would support and what you wouldn't support.
It's definitely part of the problem, Susan. We've got the toughest laws in the nation. That's where they're going to stay under my administration. But we better start enforcing them. And when you're down 100 cops in Bridgeport, Hartford, New Haven, and when you're down 400 troopers out of 1,300 in state police, and when the state police give their own governor a 70%, 90% voted no approval, we got to start enforcing it. We also have to start allocating money to mental health. Many of these things you could have seen them coming through. So we should enforce what we have. They're the most stringent in the nation, and that's what I'm going to do.
The governor said that you were grandstanding on the Bristol
Yeah.
shootings, and
Yeah.
Rob Hoadley agreed.
Yeah.
What do you say to that?
Have them talk to the families. Have them talk to the cops. Have them talk to the father-in-law who gave that speech at the funeral. And then you tell me whether I'm grandstanding. I think it's unconscionable. I'm saying it's unconscionable for this governor, after cops being shot, and every single police officer that I've spoken to, saying that the police accountability bill has created a culture where that's involved, for him to not even consider changing it is crazy. And Rob Hoadley is not much better, by the way, because he advocates for very similar policies.
But again, how does that police accountability law, how did that contribute to the ambush attack on 3 police officers who were fired at with 80 rounds?
You know, Mark, I'm not a cop. But when cops tell me that it did, and they're upset about it, I'm going to believe them. Talk to the cops.
So
I'm a very bright man, and I listen to law enforcement.
Over and over again.
Right.
And you were accused tonight of exploiting the murders of 2 police officers. So again, how does this law tie in to what happened to those 3 men?
It's created a culture of tolerance. It's created a culture of lack of respect of police. Every single officer I've spoken to thinks it's related to that, and I can only tell you what they're telling me, Mark.
Have you spoken to the the families of those officers that were killed?
Indirectly, yes.
What does that mean?
Not directly, but I have spoken to them indirectly through other people.
What provisions in the law, though, would have contributed to what you say pretty much is lawlessness?
It's that law combined with the loss of qualified immunity and the overall lack of respect that this governor has shown for law enforcement. Part of it is the law he passed. Part of it is his lack of willingness to give up any of that money that he has of ours to recruit more police officers. Part of it is a lack of respect. And again, I would ask the police officers, not me. They're much closer to it. I'm telling you what they're telling me.
Mr. Stefanowski, on the topic of guns, Governor Lamont was trying to say that he got an A rating from the NRA. He's also been running ads saying that. How would you respond?
4 years ago, I didn't seek their endorsement this time. Connecticut has very strict gun laws. They're not going to change. We're going to enforce the heck out of them. We need to start enforcing them.
Did you change your mind about what?
Concerned about the economy facing a recession possibly in a couple of years.
Sure.
What would you say to both Rob Hotaling and Governor Lamont saying we can't spend down this money, we need to have that rainy day fund? What would you say about their plans?
I would say have some empathy for people. You know, when I'm sitting in a Waterbury diner on a Saturday morning with two people at age 70, and they say they have to leave to go to work, and I say why, and they say, well, it's our third job. We really thought we'd be retired right now. We really thought we'd be able to go enjoy our grandkids today, but we got to go to our third job. Otherwise, we can't fill the oil bill. I would say to both those gentlemen, and they're both two peas in a pod, right? Have some empathy. You can't live with something less than $6 billion. It is a rainy day. It's raining right now. It's our money. It's your viewers' money. Give some of it back. Absolutely. Look at their position on crime. Look at their position on police. Look at their position on the economy. Look at their position on health care. Hotaling used to work for Governor Dan Malloy. Of course, they're two peas in a pod. You got two Democrats and one Republican up there.
Bob, what did you say to the NRA to get the A rating? And this time, have you changed your position from what it was, or did you merely decide I'm not going to seek?
Look, I'm not going to talk about 4 years ago. This is a new campaign with a new candidate and a new platform. I didn't seek it. I'm going to support the heck out of Connecticut's gun laws. Next question.
Why not tell us how you've evolved on that issue, if you have?
I didn't evolve at all, Mark. I think Connecticut's laws are where there should be. I'm going to enforce them.
It's your second time running. What is different this time?
Much broader platform. And it's hard to beat an incumbent, admittedly. But when you have the track record that Governor Lamont has, you can't tell me it's safer than it was 4 years ago. You can't tell me it's less expensive. You can't tell me that parents feel better about education. He's stuck with this track record. Now, he wants to pretend it's good, but he's either lying or he's totally lost touch with reality. Because I just got off a bus tour. We hit over 100 cities, 3 bus tours, and people are hurting out there. And the only way to change this, and the only way to make Connecticut better, is to change governors. And it's a new approach. We've got plans out there to do it. We've got the energy to do it. And you know what? I grew up in New Haven. I know what it's like to suffer. I know what it's like to not be able to make a rent payment. I know what it's like. I know what people are going through. I don't think Governor Lamont does. Okay, thank you, everyone.